Hello and welcome to Speckled Speech. My name is Naylene Jones, and today I'm going to read a story I wrote for students who are learning how to articulate the S sound called Missy and Sissy Mouse in Spring. Subscribe, and if you want a downloadable copy, you can find it on speckledspeech.com. Spring slowly wakes up from its sleepy seasonal slumber as the sun peeks out from behind the spreading silver-lined nimbus clouds. The first signs of spring bring crocus sprouting sporadically across the sparkling landscape. In the distance, droplets of melting snow drip from the frosty white snowdrop blossoms. Sprigs start sticking out of sticks and stems. The blissful singing of the songbird who had been nestled in its nest in the aspen tree on the west side of the house wakes up, snoozing Missy Mouse. Missy stretches her stiff muscles after a long, cold winter of snuggling inside her mouse house. Missy Mouse decides to slip out of the spotted slipper which she had mischievously stolen last season from Mrs. Mississippi, who lives in the big part of the house on the other side of the tall wall. She had stuffed the slipper through the mouse hole that is concealed by the toy basket of Mrs. Mississippi's scary cat named Jaspurr. Missy Mouse's mother likes to keep her mouse house squeaky clean, but last night Missy's trickster sister Sissy Mouse made a stinky mess by chewing up a striped baseball sock. So Mama Mouse tells Sissy she will give her a sticky star sticker if she picks up her stinky messy mess. Missy and Sissy Mouse's Mama Mouse scrambles to mix the breakfast grits and stir the tasty oats and steamy groats that are searing on the stovetop. Missy sticks her wispy whiskers outside to sniff the scents of spring flowers mixed with the smell of her tasty breakfast. Missy loves the smell of the spicy cinnamon Mama Mouse generously sprinkles all over the delicious smackerels. Sometimes the cinnamon makes her sniffle, then sneeze with a big squeak. "Bless you," someone says. Once breakfast is served, Missy Mouse restlessly sits and eats her cinnamony oats, groats, and grits and drinks her fresh squeezed citrus cilantro juice. She's excited to go play outside, so she eats and drinks really fast. After she's super stuffed, Missy Mouse speedily rinses her face and whiskers. Missy wears her special cross-stitch mouse blouse, and Sissy gets dressed in her pretty, prissy party dress. As they hurry past Mama Mouse, Mama shouts, "If you want strawberry ice cream with sprinkles for dessert, you must promise to be back for supper at 6. "Scout's honor," they squeak simultaneously as they scoot out the door. "Also, stay safe," they hear their mama's voice say behind them, so they blow her kisses. Each sister sneakily slithers past Jaspurr the Cat's basket and safely out of the mouse house, scampering past the sprouting sage and between the slivers of grass where the snails left slimy snail trails. Missy and Sissy hear the sound of a screeching baby coming from inside. On the far side of the house, they notice Stevie Stork stalking his breakfast on his stretchy stilt-like legs. So they guess he must have just finished his delivery service. The sisters scurry while scavenging for tasty snacks. They sniff with their snooty snouts, searching for sunflower seeds, and find pieces of lost morsels from Mrs. Mississippi's fancy porcelain plates and glass sipping glasses. Missy and Sissy notice that the once spiky spruce trees have sent out soft and stubby bristles. Yellow dandelion faces are like speckled, freckled spots in the grass as far as one can see. Adolescents' hopes and promises are made as puckered lips blow away the fluffy seeds, sending them off into the pastel blue sky. The spring has brought with it some hustle and bustle as animals like Fussy Russell Rabbit rustles around with his tousled mustache. Scotty Squirrel scouts and skitters for nuts for storage. When Skeeter, the scruffy basset hound, saunters by with his ears swinging, all of the skittish chipmunks scatter and scoot. Small leaves on the tall trees dance as the sisters prance along the cobblestone path racing across the forest trail. The sisters must be careful not to step on any broken glass. Once they make it to the steady stream, the spring peepers spring out of some mismatched rain boots. Trying not to slip, the sisters balance on the mossy log, which had been placed across the stream so people could cross across it safely. "Ouch!" screams Sissy. "Looks like a spiky splinter," says Missy, and Lickety-Split snatches the splinter out of Sissy's sore fist and says, "You'll be just fine, whippersnapper," which makes Sissy smile, and so they saunter on. On the other side of the forest are 2 geese. A gander named Sander Gosling and his goose wife Goosey Gosling are spending time with their 7 baby goslings. The first is named Seth and the second is Beth. Next is Tess, and then it is Bess, followed by Gus, and 6th it is Russ. The last is the smallest, and he is named Ryan, of course. The new friends start splishing and splashing in the cistern. Thus the sisters spend the first day of the spring season prancing about with the 7 goose-downed baby geese, singing sappy sailor songs and playing hide-and-seek near the green gooseberries and clusters of sour currants until they soak up the last of the sinking sun, still slightly glistening in the sky. "Oops," says Missy Mouse, who notices that darkness is sneaking up on her and her sister way too fast. "We must hurry back to our mouse house if we want to keep our promise." Missy and Sissy say thanks to the goose family and scuttle into the spooky woods. The sisters know that salty and savory supper awaits them at home, as well as some sweet dessert, but sadly they are lost. They slow their steps and listen closely. They hear the almost silent whispers of the oyster mushrooms speaking secrets to the swaying sycamore trees through their roots as the clouds start sprinkling raindrops over the thirsty saplings. A sleuth fox walks past the small yet smart sisters, who speedily slouch down so he does not notice them. Suddenly, in the far-off distance, the girls hear the siren sound, warning of a twisted twister twisting closely by. "Eek! We must get home soon, or else this could be a disaster," Missy warns Sissy. As the nervous mouse sisters hastily scurry out of the spooky forest and past the newly set-up plastic swing set, they are startled by Mr. Sal the crass grasshopper. He is not so nice to Missy and Sissy. "Silly mice, don't pester me," he says, and stops resting in that spot. Instead, he skips and bounces to the south side of the plaster planter where the hosta, with its twisted leaves, still sleeps below the surface of the soil. At last the soaked sisters somehow stealthily pass Jaspurr the Cat and his basket and burst through the mouse hole in the household of Mrs. Mississippi. Miraculously, they made it back safely, just a smidgen past the clock striking 6. "Super," says Mama Mouse, "you made it just in time for supper." "We missed you," they say, now safe and sound, then sit at the spool table ready to slurp up their rice and split pea soup with a side of spinach pizza and Caesar salad. And because they kept their promise to be home by 6, they each receive 2 scoops of Mama's delicious secret recipe ice cream with extra sparkling sprinkles for their much-deserved dessert. After story time, the exhausted sisters snuggle in Missy's stolen slipper, reminiscing about their first spring quest before they fall fast into a satisfying slumber. The end. And that was Missy and Sissy Mouse in Spring. Please subscribe and like this video. It really helps me. And if you could share this with anybody you know who is into stories or loves spring or is learning their S sound or is a speech pathologist, please share. And also, if you want to get a downloadable copy, you can get it at speckledspeech.com, and there's also a checklist at the end of all the words that have an S in them so that you can mark your students' progress as they work on their S sound. See you in the next video.